Yeah. Well,
there's so many styles.
what would you say to somebody who is thinking about doing this kind of stuff but is really doubting themselves? Like, who's going to want to buy my stupid whatever? Like, you know how people can be to themselves in the beginning of anything. Who would want to listen to my podcast? Who would want to buy my macrame? Like, what would you tell somebody?
I would tell them to start talking about it to your friends and your loved ones. And once you like talk about it, almost you start like manifesting the idea and bringing that idea to life and getting the opinions of those that you trust and like letting them know kind of what your ideas are and seeing what they say. If they have something negative to say about it, move on to the next person because you have a solid idea and it's good to bounce these ideas off each other. But if someone's only giving you negativity back, like you can't do that, or what about this, that, and that, and picking apart your idea rather than supporting you is because, you know, obviously an idea is just an idea.
Yeah.
That evolves into a
That's
plan,
why I always say
into
definitely
an execution, you know?
be careful about who you tell your ideas to. You know, it's better to act on them before
That's why
you
I don't
tell
tell Mike my
too
ideas.
many people.
Well, you have to tell them to people you trust and people that
exactly.
you respect and that you really value their opinion. You're not telling them to boast about it. You're telling them you're going to be vulnerable in that moment because it's a new idea.
Do you ever think sometimes, though, doing that might supplement your rather discourage you from doing it? Like say you give somebody your idea and then they go, oh yeah, but I don't know, or something like that. Do you think that sometimes it's better to just go right into it?
I think that it's good to I guess listen to a little bit of both because sometimes people will pick apart your idea in a way that you really didn't think of a certain thing. You're like, maybe I don't have this all figured out just yet, but you have to like take it with a grain of salt, like everyone, because.
And I'm going off the notion that the reality is that you're never ready.
Well,
and
also
most
no
people
one
will
else is doing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
No one else can tell you how to correctly live your life because they're not living your life.
Yeah.
And that's why, and that's I guess my concern when it comes to giving, like if I'm gonna do something, I probably tell one or two people, if that, and that's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I start from there. But I guess my point is that like sometimes, and this is obviously just based off of maybe just my life or observing other people's lives, but you'll find that sometimes telling too many people
definitely
might end up
hurting
yielding you. I can't think of the damn word. I have such a brain block right now. But yeah, you might neglect how much ability you actually have to doing that.
But also keeping yourself shut away and not telling a single soul can hurt you potentially as well. Because the more people who know about your idea and as you start to like try to network and get people to support your idea, you got to talk about it more.
Well, I definitely agree with you on the fact that when you start getting the things in motion, it's amazing how many people are actually supportive.
They're so on board, yeah.
I guess it just turns me off. I see a lot of people talk about something like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then it's like, oh man, do it, and then they don't, and then and I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from with that, where some people will, instead of doing it, they'll talk about it. And I think there's a psychological quirk attached to that.
Wish I knew who you were talking about.
A lot of people
Dale bounces things off me all the time and doesn't do shit. No, I'm just kidding. The psychological quirk being that sometimes you get the satisfaction, the psychological satisfaction of doing something just by talking about it.
Yeah.
And then you won't do it. And then especially if you're building up anticipation to do it, that anticipation is really linked to this perceived readiness that nobody ever really has. You have to just do it.
From my perspective, I have a lot of self-doubt with a lot of things that I do. I have a lot of anxiety with a lot of things I do too. So the more I speak about it...
That's good to know, though. It's supernatural.
Yeah, but the more I speak about something and the more I like just bring it to fruition by just talking about it. Like I'm really big on like manifesting everything, attracting what you put out.
Yeah.
So the more I can put it out there that I'm going to do these things, the more I can shush those words in my head that is like, no, you're not going to do that. Like you aren't capable of doing that. Like what if you suck? What if you fail? What if all of these other things happen? Like the more I speak to it, the more
Yeah.
I can shut up all those
That's
other
like
voices.
It's
you
like the
know?
hardest game to play in life
Yeah.
is just trying to convince yourself that you actually
Yeah.
can. Like you were talking about the imposter syndrome. I've been there before. Like
Yeah.
what I do
Yeah.
for work, and it's
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
like,
I've been there
just
for
heavy.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm still
speaking
there.
about it just makes it so you can gain your confidence more with it. And,
Yeah.
And also, the more you speak about it, the more people ask you about it. You're like, oh, all right, I know how to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about what I know now. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I understand that. That's a good point, and I think, and it's kind of refreshing to know that even somebody like you, who has brought yourself to a point of independence with what you do, might be a relief to some people listening, because that is the step people are afraid to take. Somebody was on here. It was Joel Turcotte. Shout out to Joel Turcotte if you remember him. Is the drummer?
Oh yeah.
Or you were the co-host that day, were you?
I might have been. I don't know.
Think so. But anyways, he was saying
Oh, yeah,
that,
no, I was. Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
when it comes to fearing the leap,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, the fear is not taking the leap, it's usually failing.
Yeah.
And what failure is, the bottom line of it is that you did not accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that by not taking the leap, you are where you fear to be the most.
You're not even.
Because you're exactly where
yeah.
you're afraid to be.
Yeah.
Well,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
And honestly, you have to be comfortable with failing and be comfortable with being uncomfortable when you take that leap.